Holy shit, what a great fucking movie. But before I begin, I think I need to disclose that when it comes to the Blade franchise, I haven't seen the first one or the third one. Although, judging from what I saw, I don't think I need to see the first one to understand what was going on, since they give enough exposition of Blade's origins and his powers in the first 10 minutes. I find it interesting which movies in a franchise you need to see in order to understand what is going on in the movies that follow. I remember seeing the movie X2, X-Men United, and honestly, I had absolutely no fucking clue what the powers of the X-Men were. You have to understand, I've seldom read comics other than manga, and it was only until I saw the very first X-Men movie that I finally understood what the powers of the X-Men were, particularly when it came to Wolverine and Rogue. Anyway, I digress. Now, the plot of Blade 2 is interesting for the universe that Blade exists in. Blade has been invited by the King of Vampires to his castle in some country in Europe or Russia. He is told that there is a new and even more dangerous breed of vampire out there that consumes other vampires as well as people, and they need his help in order to take down this new breed of vampire. Now here's a tip to automatically make your movie awesome. Cast one of the following men in your movie: Ron Perlman, Samuel L. Jackson, or Danny Trejo. Anyway, in all seriousness though, Ron Perlman is one of my favorite actors. I've been a fanboy of Ron Perlman ever since I saw him in Hellboy, which, like Blade 2, was directed by Guillermo del Toro and came out after this. Hellboy was good, but I think that Blade 2 was better in ways that Hellboy was held back in, mainly with the amount of blood that they showed. Guillermo del Toro does a good job in choosing roles for Ron Perlman to play in his movies, and I very much appreciate them both for that. Del Toro is an awesome director. I may not like all of his movies, but I'd say half the movies that he's made thus far in his career are enjoyable to me. The thing that to me sets Guillermo del Toro apart from other directors is that he really focuses his time on doing the makeup and special effects for his movies. I mean, after all, he owns his own special effects and makeup company, and it's things like Hellboy and Blade 2 that really give del Toro's talents a chance to shine. I mean, some of the most interesting parts of Blade 2 were parts like when Blade went to meet the Vampire King. Del Toro must have put in a lot of thought as to what the Vampire King would look like if he was as old as he is, and I think the key thing was to be a little over the top. He looks more like an alien than a vampire, but the emphasis on the bluish skin is a welcome one. Another good, for instance, of how well the makeup looked in this movie was when they were doing the surgery on one of the infected vampire's bodies, and the attention to detail is evident from how the final results turned out, and how they looked on the screen was amazing. I loved watching those scenes in particular, but I don't just watch movies for makeup. Sometimes I just need a movie where I can just sit back, relax, and watch vampires running around and killing each other or other human beings. In other words, a gory action flick. Sometimes I just need a movie where I can sit back, relax, and watch vampires running around, killing human beings and killing each other. In other words, a gory action flick. And Blade 2 offers all that and more. I think that as an action flick, Blade 2 is a pretty solid flick. Although I will say this, I think that the one thing I really don't like about Blade 2 is that it's entertaining and all, but if I'm honest, I think that if I saw this movie 2 more times, I wouldn't want to see it anymore after that. A solid movie, yes, but plot twists get old after the first or second viewing, and there is a bit of a plot twist near the end of the movie, which, like, at some point you're going to think, okay, this is dumb. Anyway, Blade 2 gets 4 stars out of 5.